In this video, I want to take a closer look at the fraction division in terms of units per group and this interpretation of division. As a reminder, this method takes a divided by b is equal to what and thinks of it as b times what is equal to a. We know the number of groups and we know the total number of units to be put in those groups, but we're missing how many units are in each group. And we can extend this idea to fractions as well. We have 4/5 divided by 2/3 is equal to what? We want to think of this as 2/3 times what is equal to 4/5. In other words, what is the size of one whole group when 2/3 of a group has a size of 4/5 units? So I want to look at ways that we can organize these problems and think about these problems using tables, strip diagrams, and double number lines. Similarly to the previous video, let's start with a whole number problem and then look at comparing that to the fraction version of this problem. For this one, let's consider the problem if we have 6 liters of sports drink, it's 2 servings, how many liters are in one serving? Let's start with a table to interpret this. We know that 2 servings corresponds to 6 liters, so we want to know 1 serving corresponds to how many liters. So the table is the first way we have to kind of organize this problem. Next, let's look at a strip diagram. For my strip diagram, I know the total length of the strip would be 2 servings, so I have it broken up into 2 groups. And this would represent a total of 6 liters. So I want to know how much each one of these segments in my strip diagram is worth. So 1 serving is how many liters. Now let's look at a double number line. For my double number line, I'm going to let the top number line represent liters, the bottom represents servings. So we have 1 serving is how many liters when we know that 2 corresponds to 6 liters. So these are the different ways I could organize this problem. So now let's look at how this corresponds to a fraction problem. Let's think of 4/5 divided by 2/3. If 4/5 of a liter of a sports drink is 2/3 of a serving, then how many liters are in 1 serving? Let's start by organizing this using a table. In the first row, what we know that 2/3 of a serving represents 4/5 liters. So 1 serving is how many liters? Next, let's look at a strip diagram. Here I have my strip diagram. For this problem, I know how much is in 2/3 of a serving, so I went ahead and broke my full unit into 3 groups, and we know that 2 of these groups represents 4/5 liters. So I want to know how many total would be in the full strip, the entire 1 serving. Finally, let's look at the double number line. Here we have that 2/3 of a serving corresponds to 4/5 liters, so how many liters corresponds to 1 serving? So these are different ways we can think of organizing and kind of thinking through these type of problems where we're trying to figure out how many total are in each unit.